We can go ahead and go if your staff would be a little quiet in the back of the room back there.
We're a happy bunch. What can I say?
You are a happy bunch.
Good
All
morning,
right.
Commissioners.
Economic Development Planning Director Jim Schimmer.
Commissioner, my name is James Schimmer. I'm proud to be Franklin County's Director of Economic Development and Planning. This morning I plan to take you and the public through a presentation on our 2018 budget.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
What was that?
Well, I have it's an operator error apparently.
Operator error.
Commissioners, just to kind of go back to where we start. Our mission is concise. It's to be the best community and economic development organization in the state of Ohio through the use of innovation, public policy, and programs which make significant and lasting contributions to the quality of life of our residents. We are proposing an $18.5 million budget. The dollar amounts falling into the areas that you see on the screen. You do have these in your documents, so you can look at those. I'm happy to report that out of the $18.5 million, we only use 10% for administrative purposes. That means 90% of our funds are going into grants and programs that directly benefit Franklin County residents and businesses. Economic Development and Planning has 24 folks, 2 graduate interns, and under our 2018 budget, we are proposing to transition our food systems planner into a full-time Franklin County employee. I am also happy this morning to introduce to you a reorganization that recognizes the fine work of our staff by moving Jenny Snap, who is immediately to my left, into the assistant director position and promoting Mark Paxson further down the role into his new role as community development administrator. Matt Brown will serve as the planning administrator and Sean Fields as our fiscal agent. This is the org chart that we currently have, and you will be getting paperwork in the near future to make this formalized. So our 2018 focus relies on the fact that we are proposing to undertake one major initiative, well, several major initiatives, but this is the one I want to highlight. And that is to undertake a Franklin County economic development plan to help steer our course for the future. As we've done with our 5-year consolidated plan for community development, which lays out the commissioner's priorities for just how we spend those community development block grant dollars, the Franklin County Economic Development Plan as proposed would do the same for economic development, but we want to go a step further. And we want to be able to really understand the prominent business sectors which make up our economy and identify those growth organizations that we have as possibilities for the future. Additionally, the plan will allow us to evaluate the SmartWorks Economic Development Program, which is currently in place. Additionally, in 2018, we're going to strive to collaborate under County Administrator Wilson's direction, the collaboration with fellow Franklin County departments such as Jobs and Family Services and Child Support Services to find jobs for our residents and begin efforts to tackle the reduction in our overall poverty rate. We will continue to leverage our partnership with the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission and the Columbus Regional Airport Authority to continue work already being done in 2017 on the inside and outside the fence planning work for Rickenbacker, which utilizes our regional partners, both in communities and counties. This work is also going to facilitate the collaboration with City of Columbus and the work underway already with the Smart Cities grant, especially as it relates to the advanced logistics area and our own fleet management. We will continue to think regionally as you have directed us, but not forget our efforts to end homelessness and reduce our poverty levels in the county. And lastly, we will continue to provide enhanced building and zoning inspections. Many residents in Franklin County are unaware of the fact that we actually run a building and zoning department. Inspections are done every day, rain or shine, heat or cold, and often overlooked. I'd like to recognize Joe Bailey, Paul Eberts, Elizabeth Dankin, Bertram Walker, Rick Irby, and Neil Fulton, all being led by our Chief Building Official Mike Kelleher for their tireless work to keep our residents safe and our county looking sharp. So commissioners, as you know, we provide inducements. In economic development, we are both opportunity seekers and problem solvers. We work with our community partners to help provide targeted assistance when it comes to economic development deals to either keep or attract our businesses here in Franklin County. A really good example of our work this year was the approval of a tax incentive for a new 800,000 square foot warehouse that Duke has done down at Rickenbacker. It's the first building in the or Columbus Regional Airport Authority's rail campus. And I am proud to say we helped resolve site design issues, annexation issues, incentive district issues, and we're going to have that project happen. It's actually under construction and coming out of the ground. As you all know, but for the public's education this morning, our current economic development program is known as SmartWorks and continues the programs that are listed above. It was created in 2004 as a 5-year program when the commissioners allowed us to use $5.5 million in general fund sales tax revenue to support the program. We believed at that time it was an innovative local approach and one which was unique nationally. In fact, that has been bared out by the fact that the National Association of Counties awarded us a National Achievement Award this year for the program. Let me show you and the general public how this program is really making a difference in Franklin County. Under the Infrastructure Works area and the Infrastructure Bank program, what I want to make sure that everyone is aware of is that this is actually a revolving loan program. The Infrastructure Works program has had numerous accomplishments in 2017, as you can see on this slide. But the question of what is a revolving loan program is a question that I think needs to be addressed. It simply means that Franklin County lends money out to other public entities, in this case townships, villages, cities, to support infrastructure projects which leverage economic development deals. The money is repaid back to the county within a 10-year period, and we are able to re-lend the money or revolve the money for other projects. The Infrastructure Bank, as you can see here, has loaned $5.6 million to 6 projects in 5 municipalities. Over the next year, over the next couple of years, 887 jobs are scheduled to be created. And to date, 16 companies in Franklin County have already created 220 jobs using this program. And the key here is they are returning $201,000 of program income back to the county so we can re-lend this money back out again. Under the area of PeopleWorks, which was launched in 2015, one lesson we have learned in the course of the SmartWorks program is that we must remain flexible and apply changes when we need to generate results. This is certainly the case with PeopleWorks, where we found out that workforce training does not necessarily equate to the fact that one size fits all. It just doesn't. Workforce development and training is a difficult area. But this program is designed to put public assistance recipients to work with private sector companies, as well as providing underskilled recipients critical training. So far this year and over the program's history, 18 private sector companies have hired at least 1 employee through our workforce navigation system. We have 36 non-profit social service agencies who are assisting us with training of our folks. Our grantees will create 534 jobs over the next couple of years. The big number, however, is that we have found employment for 292 folks who were on public assistance. As we move through PeopleWorks and illustrate some of the grant performance areas, a bedrock premise of the program is that we are stronger together, and this collaboration with Franklin County agencies such as Jobs and Family Services and Child Support Services, as well as our outside partners, are listed on this slide and has proven a variety of different outcomes, and we will continue to work with folks in our own system, in the Franklin County system, to get people put back to work and to train people for jobs of the future. EDP is committed to work with our sister agencies in county government and to train people successfully to get gainful employment. 2018, as we look forward, we have several new projects that are in our pipeline, and they will for example, support a new and large startup call center business. Will assist a construction contractor to hire construction contractors, I should say, to hire individuals for career training in the construction industry. We will look at the expansion of a home healthcare company, as well as, in collaboration with other partners, support the expansion of commercial driver license training school. The key here is that, commissioners, we have people who need work. They're in our system. We want to make certain that, working through collaboration with our other organizations like JFS, we have the ability to get those folks back to work in a meaningful way. One of the other areas that's been extremely successful is the Energy Works component of SmartWorks. Continuing in this area, under your resolution 68306, which laid out the Commissioner's environmental sustainability agenda, the Energy Works program is another revolving loan program administered by our partners at the Columbus Franklin Finance Authority. The program provides loans to private sector businesses who want to undertake energy improvements to outdated buildings. As you can see, this program really hit its stride in 2017, with over $1 million being lent. Since the program's inception, we have lent $3 million to businesses in Franklin County. And remember, again, this is a revolving loan, meaning the payments will go back out again to support other projects. Franklin County receives its money back to relend for future projects. And I should mention that Franklin County was named a SolSmart Bronze Community this year for our work to encourage solar installations within the county. Energy is a key component of our future. And finally, Commissioners, one of our last SmartWorks suites programs is Downtown Works. Partnering with Heritage Ohio, we are working with downtowns throughout Franklin County, not the center of Columbus, but our traditional downtown areas throughout the county. And why would we do this? Well, one of the things that we're really concerned about is the idea that sales tax comes from a number of different places and entities. Our historic downtowns throughout the county, supporting retail in that area with technical assistance from Heritage Ohio, and communities like Westerville, Worthington, Hilliard, Groveport, Grove City, and Gahanna, makes sound economic sense. One of the things, Commissioners, that we want to mention and talk a little bit about here this morning is our grant funding distribution. As I've mentioned, Economic Development and Planning Department is keeping its administrative cost around 10%. We can only do this by utilizing the expertise of our strategic partners, such as Rev1, to advance and cultivate commercial startups, Columbus 2020, who we use as a business development organization which represents and presents opportunities on a statewide, national, and international basis. The Sports Commission, which works to generate both amateur and professional sports event opportunities. And finally, Experience Columbus, which is charged with generating more tourism dollars for the county. Under this area, hotel and motel bed tax collections increased by 4.9% year to date, or $1.3 million through September 30th, with collections totaling nearly $34 million. So why is this important? Well, this is important because these funds support not only Experience Columbus, but a number of cultural arts programs, social services, affordable housing programs, and the Franklin County Convention and Facilities Authority. The taxpayers watching this morning should realize that these dollars generated by all of these partners reduce the need for additional tax dollars, thus saving them money. As you know, we do provide incentives for businesses, and one of the key things that I want to mention this morning is transparency in those areas. Our judicious use of incentives to stimulate development opportunities is critical to our ability to attract and retain businesses in Franklin County. We're proud of the Tax Incentive Review Council, the TRC, which is actually comprised of volunteer county residents who will review our portfolio annually. And although the portfolio of incentive deals continues to get smaller as we move through time, as earlier projects reach their term, the results have really been terrific. In fact, of the commitments made by these companies, all have vastly exceeded their requirements, as you can see from this particular chart. The most striking, however, is new jobs number, where we've added an additional 583 jobs. Those are 583 jobs more than had been originally committed as part of the business's agreement. So we have seen very, very positive direction under job creation and investment. Commissioners, one of our critical roles is in community development. Franklin County's community development program is funded with federal dollars from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. I will tell you this morning that I have one major concern, and I'd like it to be known to the commissioners. It concerns the future funding of Community Development Block Grant Program, our Home Investment Partnership Program, and Emergency Solutions Grants, also known as ESG for homelessness. These programs serve an estimated 17,500 Franklin County residents. It will be a disaster, quite honestly, if these funds are cut severely, and the people who suffer the most are the people who need this assistance the most. And those are our low and moderate income residents throughout the county. And really, what does it say about the state of our country if we can't take care of our most needy? As you can see, as you can see here, let me get moving along. From the use of our HUD entitlement dollars in 2018, we use these dollars wisely for housing, economic development, homelessness prevention, infrastructure, and public service project. We are first in the nation in leveraging our home funds, and in 2017 we leveraged an additional $37 million from our partners throughout the county. So we're making this money work, and we're making it work hard. This slide shows where we have put our federal dollars to work, both in housing stabilization and improvements, economic development, public social service programs, administration and compliance, home administration, county rental rehab and new construction, as well as emergency solutions grants for homelessness. Commissioners, already we are beginning to feel the pain of some of those proposed cuts in the federal programs, and we've, under the guidance of HUD, have begun to budget a 15% cut in 2018 in funding across the board. Here's the reality check. Approximately 262 fewer Franklin County residents will not receive benefits under these programs in 2018. This is my greatest concern, Commissioners, when it comes to our 2018 budget, and one that I hope will generate public activism. I'll now go from dire warnings, which I was just giving you, to positive inspiration, which is always good. And yes, Commissioner O'Grady, Mr. Blue Skies strikes again. I appreciate that nickname. I'm proud of it, as a matter of fact. Overall, the economy has been robust and is showing in our planning and zoning numbers. Although we were slightly down in 2006 from our record high, Franklin County continues to grow. As of November 30th in 2017, revenue from permits and fees has grown by 54% over 2014. Further, since 2015, that revenue has increased in excess of $100,000 annually. We'd like to work with OMB to look at how we can put this money back to use within planning. Specifically, we have 3 projects we'd like to look at as we move forward. Certainly the implementation of the Columbus-Franklin County Food Action Board. Their work has started as part of the food plan. City of Columbus has committed some dollars to that effort. We'd like to be able to have Franklin County commit some funding for it. Jenny has been working hard on the I-270 West Broad Street interchange. It's a gateway improvement out by the casino, and it's only by her hard work in the area, the work of the folks that represent that area, Tracy Hatmaker and Prairie Township and several of the private business owners there, that that gateway will be improved, hopefully. We'd also like to look at our zoning resolution and update that. We haven't updated that zoning resolution since 1969, and I think it's time. Excuse me, 1996, and I think it's I think it's time. What did I say? 69. No, that was a good year, 69, but no, this was 1996. But the point is, much like Director Renner's point to you about aging infrastructure, we want to make certain that we do not have aging rules on our books. And it's a very, very important piece of what goes on. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's not well understood by the public that we operate a building department which issues permits for construction in the unincorporated areas in 6 contract jurisdictions. But we have been busy in that area, looking at code compliance for the Ohio Residential Building Code for 1 and 2 and 3 family units. Our services involve plan examination, new construction, building inspections, building permits, electrical permits, HVAC. We also provide court testimonies and do a number of preventative inspections. And one of the largest areas is complaint-based inspections. We take calls from the public about properties that they believe need some assistance and need to be looked at. This is a chart that I'm really pleased to show you because it illustrates lot split annexations, numbers of new homes built, subdivision lots created, and really for the most part, everything you see there is on an upward trend, specifically anchored by the number of new homes built. 2016, the number was 119. Our 2017 year-to-date total is up to 225. Additionally, in the area of growth, our permit numbers continue to increase as time has moved forward. And as you can see from these charts, the permits issued and the permit receipts and estimate of construction all are growing and indicate a solid economy. Unlike the charts I had to show you guys back in 2009, 10, and 11, which were going the other way. So this is a very positive note, and I want to make sure that you're aware of it. Commissioner, one of the highlights of this presentation today is the fact that I'm so very proud that the commissioners allowed us to invest in technology infrastructure. Specifically in 2012, you allowed us to purchase software for online permitting and payments. I'm happy to tell you this morning that between 2015 and 2017, we saw a 92% increase in the use of online permitting services. So that has worked tremendously well, and we're very, very pleased and proud of that. And finally, commissioners, under your leadership, we are finding the future faster in Franklin County. We're doing it with great people and a commitment to making Franklin County the best county in America. And if I can say so, yes, I am Mr. Blue Skies in a lot of ways, but why settle for average when you can have exceptional? And we want Franklin County to be an exceptional place to live, grow, raise a family, and to provide economy that generates financial support for our residents. So I'm happy to take any questions. I have Jenny and Mark with me specifically for planning and community development questions, but we're happy to answer anything that you might have for us. I know that was a rush through. Each year I try to figure out how to do this presentation in a better way. This year I figured for Commissioner Boyce's benefit, I better be good on solid numbers and provide those. So we are getting to learn your style, Commissioner Boyce, so thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to say, Director, I really appreciate that. And I mean, being honest, I think your budget presentation was the best one so far. Seriously, I'm being serious about that. I thought you answered proactively every question I would have asked, and I think it was important what you highlighted for the public to hear, and I think you made the connection, and so it really was. I don't have any questions. This is a good presentation. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I like your blue sky approach to things, and yet I am concerned about the community development piece and how we do bridge that gap with the federal dollars going down and help our families do better and get them into jobs that pay well and really help those families that are going to be hurting from those losses of dollars. And Mark, I know you've done an exceptional job with tracking all of the HUD monies over a long period of time. And what do? you know, without those federal,
Well, Commissioner Brown, I'll answer that question by saying we'll do what we've done in the past. You know, we are looking at a time where the economy might be flush, but we have had tough times in the past. I started my job in Franklin County in 2006, and those were difficult years. We understand the need to do more with less. And especially in things like the energy piece, if you believe in environmental sustainability, then that ball is going to fall right on our lap. And there is no federal help to look for and no state help to look for. If we believe in it, we'll try and find the money and make things work in that area. So again, I think a key thing is not to get well, I shouldn't say that. I think I am overly concerned about it, to be honest with you. I think that when you look back at how Franklin County spent its ERA dollars in the Obama administration, and that program that was a stimulus program that pulled us out of the Great Recession, that was a case where we were allowed the opportunity to think big, and it's shown that the results are out there. They have allowed us to do projects that we would not have had the opportunity to do in the past. I am really interested to see where our infrastructure dollars and spending goes on a federal level. Because I think one of the key things for Central Ohio and certainly for Franklin County is transportation, and the projects that could happen, the projects that have been planned for, the projects that Deputy County Administrator Janice has worked on with MORPSI are all teed up and ready to go.
oh, I know.
And I will mention this as my last comment, is really one of the things that we're trying to do with the economic development plan is to follow the guidance and direction that Columbus 2020 has provided the region, is that they are operating under this concept that prepared communities win. When we have a developer come in, when we have an Amazon or a Facebook, we better be ready to have infrastructure either in place or ready to go to attract those companies. And I think we've done a fairly good job with that. The question is, how do we address those things in the future and keep this economy growing? At the same time, looking at the other side of the coin, which is the discussion that we had with the commissioners yesterday on our poverty rate in Franklin County, the oddest question in the world. We have all of this growth going on. Per capita income is on the rise. Our job creation numbers are on the rise, yet our poverty rate continues to increase. So that's a challenge for us. And you know, as we look forward to things, I think we're well aware, again, that it may be a case where we need to be frugal and stretch our dollars, but our commitment to making Franklin County the best place in the country is not compromised in that situation.
Well, Director, I didn't like your budget presentation because I didn't bring my magnifying glass and I can't read it because it's too small print. I'm getting old. No, I'm kidding. No, your presentation was great. And yes, I did coin the nickname Director Blue Skies or Mr. Blue Skies with you because you do a very good job of projecting where we can go and where we can be if we're trying to be our best selves, and we're trying to think about where we can go if we only think about what the possibilities are. I just wish our friends at the editorial staff of the Columbus Dispatch had called us before they wrote the editorial the other day, blaming us for some of the lack of vision of some of our developers here in town as it relates to Cooper Park and the Westland Mall site, and wish they had asked us for our input instead of blaming us for not doing more, and wish they had asked us for what we had done and what we have been doing to try to encourage the development of those two sites, and and I wish they had talked to us about the fact that those are two privately held properties that we don't own, that are owned by private developers that we have encouraged, and you have done a ton of work to encourage, and we have done a ton of work to encourage the development of those two facilities, those two sites, and We have tried to do as much as we possibly could to encourage the development of those two sites over the years. Sometimes we've encouraged more than the developer wanted us to. Sometimes we've done less than the developers wanted us to. But we've always had the public's best interest in mind when we've told them no. You know, I don't like being blamed for the misfortune and mistakes of other people. But at the same time, we're always here willing to listen to good ideas, and we're always here willing to listen to bad ideas. We've listened to both, but we can only do what we can do. And so, yes, you are Mr. Blue Skies, and you've had some really great ideas, and we've also listened to some really bad ones. So.
Well, what I will say about that is tremendously disappointed in the Dispatch article as well, because the truth of the matter is that those two projects are literally on our radar screen every day of the year. Your point was the right one.
Yeah.
This is a private sector issue. This property is owned by the private sector. Unfortunately, in this cash-strapped situation that we find ourselves in, we can't just be going out buying private property for a use that we do not have at this point in time. So I think being smart that way and letting the market work is the right way to go. And you know, I've always been in development in Columbus for a long time, and I think I'm always reminded of the fact that when a project gets announced on the front page of the Dispatch, it's never built that way.
Right.
It always changes and always morphs, and that's a good part of the process. So, and I'm also well aware that sometimes the time just isn't right for a project to emerge. And but we're not in control in that situation. So you know, we have gone out and, in fact, this year, with Jenny's assistance, we hired the Neighborhood Design Center to sort of visualize what the public sector wanted to see for Westland. I thought it was a great comment by the private sector attorney that was representing the client at that particular point in time, to say to us, well, we hear you say no to all of the things that we've been looking at. What is it that you want? And I think what we want is to see some permanent public investment that allows for institutional uses that are going to be there when retail concept is done and over with. That there is public infrastructure investment in education, as well as looking at training opportunities and things that will be there long after a concept blows away. And that's important. And parks are important on the west side, and parks are important in a lot of areas. So as far as Cooper Stadium goes, it's a site that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So, but sorry to get into that.
I am very, very fond of the two gentlemen on those two properties. They are good people, and I hope that those two developments happen at some point. I really do, and I'm always willing to listen to their thoughts and ideas, and hope that at some point Franklin County can be maybe more helpful than we've already been in both of those locations. But I mean, those are their properties.
Yes.
And the Columbus Dispatch needs to understand that, and you know, so.
Well, thank you for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. And if you have any other questions outside of this presentation, our staff is here to.
We know where to find you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you see this, by the way? Yeah. Did you see this, by the way?